Greetings, Nick Bowcott with Sweetwater here, and welcome to How to Play 3 Classic Pantera Riffs the Dimebag way. 1966 was a pretty darn good year. Firstly, England won the World Cup for the first and probably only time. But secondly, and far more importantly, on August 20th of that year, a boy was born in Texas and his name was Darrell Lance Abbott, better known simply now as Dimebag. He started playing guitar. He didn't just play guitar, he was extraordinary. And together, with his brother Vinnie Paul on drums, Rex Brown on bass, and Philip H. Anselmo on vocals, he was part of a band that changed the metal landscape. They were, of course, Pantera. Sadly, both Dime and Vinnie are no longer with us, but the game-changing, bar-raising metal they forged with Pantera will live on forever. The reason this video is called How to Play 3 Classic Pantera Riffs the Dimebag Way as opposed to How to Play Them Correctly is simply this. That's not how Dime thought. He didn't think in terms of right or wrong. As far as he was concerned, there were no rules, no boundaries. If it sounded good, go for it because it was right. Amen to that. The late great Dime also had the same attitude with regards scales and modes. As far as he was concerned, there was only one scale you needed to know, and that was the chromatic. And that leads us nicely into the first classic Pantera riff we're going to learn, which is the one I introed with, the intro to New Level from Vulgar Display of Power. This riff is a classic example of just how crushing a well-placed chromatic run can be. And that's what Dime was great at, making chromatics crush. And thanks to Digital Magic, here I am with a guitar tuned to drop D. Now, a lot of transcriptions in very famous magazines and a lot of great guitar players play this riff in drop D. And I gotta tell you, the intro sounds great that way and it's really easy to play. Check it out. That sounded pretty good and was easy to play, but that's not how Dime did it. What he did was drop the whole guitar down a whole step, so it went from D to D. Actually, in truth, all of his tuning was a quarter step lower than you expected, so his E was really sitting between D sharp and E. His A was sitting somewhere between G sharp and A. Makes sense? He was like a quarter tone flat. So when he tuned to D, he was really tuned somewhere between C sharp and D. But for the sake of simplicity here, I'm tuned to regular drop D, and when I change guitars to just D to D. Got it? That said, let's change guitars again to a D to D guitar. Dan, dan, da, and here I am with the guitar tuned a whole step down, and this is how Dime played that memorable riff. That's actually harder to play, and notice the fact that he plays the last chord, which is a B flat, if I can use that term, even though I'm down a whole step. He played it in the first position, the reason being economy and also brightness. I could have gone down to the 6th fret and played it like this, but check it out, it sounds different. As opposed to, one more time. The latter's a bit brighter in my opinion, sounds better, and it's also great in terms of economy of movement because it puts me right there to go from E to F on the next ascent. Got me? So I go, as opposed to too big of a jump. Keep it simple, stupid. The KISS principle works there. Now at this point, I know what some of you are probably thinking. Sure, that last chord does sound brighter there, but it's way, way easier to play the riff in drop D, so I'm going to stick to that and play the whole song that way. Good for you, Dime would approve, but there is a caveat. This is where it goes horribly wrong. There's something in the song that you can't play on a drop D tuned guitar, you can only play it on a guitar tuned a whole step down, and it's just before the verse. This is what Dime plays. He plays a quick syncopated riff a few times on the open E string, and then he plays 3 chords. And the third of the 3 chords cannot, I repeat, cannot be played in a drop D situation. Let me show you. Those last two chords are minor dyads, the root and the minor third, and this is what they sound like. Really eerie and pretty vital to the lead into the verse. Now if I switch to a drop D guitar, I can play the first two chords, but the third one I have a problem with. Let's just hear them one more time. And here are those last three chords on a drop D guitar. Hold on a second, I can't play the third one. The root's there, but the third is this note. It's there, it's behind the nut. I can't do it, darn it. I'm scuppered. So you can't play that song in drop D if you want to play that chord. I guess you could do this. Play a single note, but it doesn't have that same dissonant vibe. So D to D is the way to go. That's the Dime way. But if you want to play it the other way, God bless you, Dime would approve. But before we leave New Level, let me show you how he played that cool pick scrape thing at the very start. Delay engaged. All you do is a simple soaring motion on the high strings, the G, B, and E, while moving the pick towards the nut like this. And he double tracked it and it sounded great. Next up is a 2-for-1 deal, the intro to the classic Cowboys from Hell. First though, let me quickly explain how I know Dime did in fact play the riffs I'm showing you the way I'm showing you them. It's simply this: I had the honor, the pleasure, the privilege of working with him on his Guitar World column called Riff of Madness throughout the 90s. We did so many, in fact, it became a book, and we did this together. So my job was just to sit there and have him show me how he did stuff. Now, I can't even come close to doing what he did. I am not worthy, but I do know what notes he was playing and where he was playing the chords, so I'm giving it my best shot. And to help me in this Herculean task, I'm actually using one of Dime's stage picks. Check it out. As you can see, it's not just a Dunlop pick, it's been gouged with a thick metal tip, so it's got rivets in it. It's got ruts in it, so you can't drop the thing. So that's helping my feeble attempts at getting this right. That said, let's do Cowboys from Hell. One of the many great things about the Cowboys from Hell riff is it uses one of the first scales we all learn, the minor blues scale. It's in E, he plays at the 12th position, and it's just E, G, A, B flat, B, and D, these notes. And he just plays the riff there with some palm muting. It just goes like this. Now I've seen a lot of people play the same exact riff in the 7th position. So that's just one string over and 6 frets closer to the nut. And they play it like this. The notes are totally right, but it sounds bright to my ears. Dime played it at the 12th, so that's where I play it. And the other reason I like the 12th position is the slide at the end. You've got more room to slide from the 12th position than you do the 7th. Check it out. Nice long slide from here. Nice long piece of highway. From the 7th position though, I'm out of highway already. Not so good. So I prefer how it sounds in the 12th position. I definitely prefer the length of the string I have to slide down to the main riff. Dime liked to call the intro at the 12th position the appetizer because it made you hungry for more. So when he slid down to the open position and played the riff an octave lower, you were ready for the full meal deal. He often likened it to the high version is the body blow, the low version is the knockout punch. I've seen a lot of people play the main riff like this, by the way, just on the open E string. Which sounds pretty cool. The notes are right, it's easy to play. Well, pretty easy. I don't like the hammer-on part, to be honest with you. But that's not how Dime plays it. He plays it in the open position, and he does that for a big reason. He adds power chords. So instead of going E, G, E, G, then A, G, A, G, like this, he throws in power chords on the E and the A respectively. So he goes, gives it more balls, as he says. Hear the difference? Yeah, I'm buying the second version. Also, when it comes to this hammer-on part, that sounds cool. It's kind of clumsy to play because I'm using my second to hammer onto the third. I don't like that because I'm not that physically adept. But here you just go, easier to play and it has more snap to it. Got me? So that's the Dime way. If you like it the other way, like I said, he gives you permission, but the power chords really add something, and the slide from the 12th gives you more traction as well. So that's the way to go, guys. Next up is one of my all-time favorite Dime riffs, one of the opening salvos in regular People Conceit on the Vocalist Play of Power. So I'm going to change guitars and have at it. What a great riff. Now the reason I'm back on this guitar is this is tuned to regular E standard. The other guitar was tuned Dime style so I could play along with the backing. So E was in fact lower than E. It sat between D sharp and E. So I was like a quarter step lower. So for simplicity, this is regular tuning. Now this is how the riff goes very slowly. It's a syncopated groove on an open E5 power chord. Then on the fourth beat of the first 3 bars, he goes to G first, then to A, then to B flat. But he doesn't use regular root fifth power chords for the G, A, and B flat. He uses major dyads. That's the root and major third. Let me play it first with the root 5 power chords, and then I'll play it with the major dyads so you can hear the Dime way. And here it is, the Dime way with the major dyads. So instead of we have, and to my ears that makes all the difference, especially with the slide. But once again, if you like it the other way, Dime would not slap you if he was here. He'd just go for it, because that's how he rolled. So have fun with these, and remember what Dime said. No rules, no boundaries. If it sounds good to you, it's right, so go with it. And to prove that, I'm going to change back to the Dime tuned guitar, and I'm going to play the whole of the intro to Regular People Conceit to the best of my ability, because he didn't show me how to play the very first riff. So this is my interpretation. Is it right? I don't know. The man I want to ask is sadly no longer with us, but you know what? I think it sounds good, so therefore, to quote Dime, it's all good and I'm rolling with it. I'm out. See ya!